Canine Detection Collaborative. We bring the conversation straight to you. Training tips and helpful hints you'll actually use. Real insights from real experts with a side of laughs. Canine Detection Collaborative is where it's at. It all comes down to just one thing, helping our dogs be the best they can be. Canine Detection Collaborative.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Canine Detection Collaborative. I'm Robin Greubel, and I am here with my stupendous co-host, Stacy Barnett.
Hello. I'm sorry. I'm just laughing because when you said stupendous, your eyes did like this big circle. It was really kind of funny.
I know. Brief little digression. We've sort of entertained the idea of allowing you guys to see us when we do the podcast thing, and then it goes away. So if you guys have opinions on that, let us know.
I vote no. But if you guys vote yes, maybe
we'll do it.
Do an occasional. Yeah.
We'll do an occasional one when we're both not like, look like bedroom trolls.
I've got the problem of I'm sitting in front. There's a sunny window behind me, and it just keeps like going over my head like a halo.
Well, we'd figure out select ones. But anyway, okay. So that was like a total way off the, but
I'm sorry. What are we talking about today?
Beer goggles.
Beer goggles.
We're talking about beer goggles.
This is the beer goggle episode.
Right.
And all of you are going,
how do beer goggles? And hopefully,
hopefully you know what beer goggles are.
Well, yeah, I would think people know what beer goggles are. So, okay. This is going to be a little bit about thinking about you're looking at your dog, or you're looking at, we've got a couple different aspects. Basically, not recognizing the dog that's standing in front of you, right? And and I see this a lot in search and rescue, and probably one of the things that ends up happening, you know what? I even had them with my first dog.
Oh my God. As a breeder, you could totally have beer goggles.
I could totally have beer goggles. And I thought, let's be honest, I love the Dash Flare cross. I love that cross. However, one of the things that's been really interesting, and I have actually told people, this may not be a disaster dog.
Yeah. And
the reason it may not be a disaster dog actually has to do with the fact that they don't necessarily like to bark.
Yeah. However, one of the Dash Flare puppies did just certify in USAR.
Just certified as Live Fine Dog with Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Right? And Natalie's got Evie, who's doing fantastic things.
Yeah.
Got all sorts of things. But Flash was supposed to be mine. She doesn't bark.
Right.
I know Michelle Metzner has Poor Little River. Okay, not Poor Little River. River's spoiled rotten.
Yes.
And is doing something else with her, because it comes back to the fact that if I have to work so incredibly hard to get my dog to bark when it goes up on a rubble pile and does something and is hunting, and getting a bark out of the dog is painful.
Yeah.
And hard.
It's already hard. The job's already hard.
Right. I can't do it. And I see some of this with search and rescue people. They show up with the puppy or the dog that they got for nose work. I'll pick on Stacy for a little bit.
Okay.
Or you get a dog because either you didn't have a job in mind.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, fast forward a year and a half, and you're like, I want to go do this thing.
Yeah. And this is the dog you have.
Right. And you might not have the ability to go because of your life circumstances, where you live, how many crates you can fit in your car.
Yeah. You might not be able to get another dog. This is the dog you have.
This is the dog you have. And it's one of those things that it's hard to look at and go, you know what? This is a me thing, not a dog thing.
Yeah. And you see a lot of people just working, actually, like if it's in the search and rescue lane, right? That for years trying to get a dog certified, or the dog passes certification, but they're really not appropriate for deployment.
Correct.
And I mean, you see that as well. And the person is so, at this point, invested.
They're emotionally invested. Their time is
financially invested a lot of times. It's expensive.
The team is invested in the person.
Yeah.
Right. And it's really hard. And this is where one of those things that, because I'm the person, my philosophy has always been, I will invest in the person.
Yeah.
Because the dogs are transitionary.
Right.
Right. And that's actually the fundamentals of like the coaching the human end of the leash from Canine Census, is because I recognized very early on, if we can shorten the learning cycle of the handlers, that handler has the opportunity to work more than one dog.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, that kind of got off on a little tangent, but it does go back to the whole idea of recognizing what your dog's telling you.
Yeah. The observation part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it's a piece of realism, right? So when we think about like, what are beer goggles, right? You go to, although I have been to a bar. And,
Yeah, I was gonna say,
like,
oh my God, I can't even.
I'm like sitting here going, I am so many decades away from when I was in college. It's not funny, but it's like you're at a bar and you've had some beer, and then you see somebody who in the moment looks amazing.
Right.
But if you were completely sober, would not
so
look amazing, not so
Right.
much. Right. And it's one of those things where I think we can more believe the image in our head versus what we're actually observing, or what we're actually reality. It's the image in our head versus reality.
Yeah.
And the hard part is that the bigger the gap between the image in our head and reality, the more we're going to struggle.
Yes.
And if it's a small gap, we can close it.
Right.
If it's a big gap, we're going to struggle.
Yeah. And one of the things that's been really interesting for me to do is to start asking the question, is this a training hole?
Yeah.
Or is this a genetic gap?
That's a good question.
And Flash she's a great example of genetic hole.
Yeah.
And
but I think it's more the arousal, isn't it? Or
some of it's an arousal, but if you look at labs are supposed to be quiet in the blind.
Oh, right.
Right. Because they don't want to scare away the birds when the birds are so you genetically
select. Yes.
Right. You genetically select for quiet for what their original purpose is done. We don't want barking, screaming labs in the blind. I also prefer level-headed dogs that we could get into some of the dog training methods and what people are doing to get dogs to be quiet.
Right.
But let's be honest. You guys have probably remember the story of Dash hiding or being stuck underneath basically a little water trough in my backyard for 13 hours.
No, what?
I thought we had lost Dash.
Oh my gosh. When was this? No, what's
he
the
had
story?
to be 2 or 3.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And we had one of the livestock troughs. It's probably a 30 or 40 gallon livestock trough. It's only about 18 or 2 feet high.
Okay.
Lost him for 12 hours.
What?
I could not figure out how he got out of the backyard.
Oh my gosh.
Nothing. Couldn't figure it out. Friend of mine walked down the stairs at 7:00 at night. I've called people. I'm crying, ugly crying, the whole 9 yards.
Oh my, I've never heard this story.
He spent the entire day underneath this tipped over livestock trough.
Okay.
In our backyard. And the only way he got found is because he happened to shift his weight and she saw the tub move.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, no. So he's trapped.
He's trapped.
Underneath.
All he had to do was stand up or bark to let us know that he was there. He did none of those things.
He was just waiting patiently.
Yes.
For you to come and rescue him.
Yes.
No attempt to self-extract.
No attempt to self-extract. Nothing.
Wow. No, I didn't know this story. Oh
yeah.
my God.
It is literally, but if you think about a dog in a blind for hunting, quiet and patient. Go get the thing, come back, drop the bird, go back into your blind, quiet and patient. And so Flash has that pretty much in spades, right? There's not even much vocalization for her at all.
No. I'm not sure. I think I've only heard her bark like once.
Yeah, well, she does really good alarm barks, but she doesn't do arousal barks. She doesn't do arousal screaming. She doesn't do any of that, which when, you think about bird dog stuff is fantastic. You think about FEMA level disaster stuff.
Not good. No. Not good at all.
Her arousal comes out as in, now let's jump 6 feet in the air so we can look at eye to eye as she's
Yeah. And so the whole barking thing, like I look at Brava, for instance, who is a nosework dog, I do not want to, and actually the a bark alert it's been written in the rules that it can and will at some point be a
dismissible.
Well, it would incur faults.
Oh, okay.
That they're highly discouraging.
Okay.
Barking as part of an alert. And I look at her and she's the barkiest creature I think I've ever met. Luckily, she doesn't bark in searching.
Right.
But I mean, it's really an interesting concept where then in that application, that desire to bark, it is in her. She barks all the time. But in the application of nosework, we would want to, if we were going to breed for a perfect nosework dog, we'd probably want to deselect that.
Most likely.
Most likely. Yeah.
Flash would be a really good nosework.
Oh, she'd be killer.
Right.
Yeah.
So that just goes back to, I know we've talked about before going through and me looking at certain dogs and being like, okay, no, you can't do this.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. And I've made the choice and I have the ability to be like, okay, no, this is now your job. I will use this, but even like Ducati.
Yeah.
Right. Ducati is currently living as somebody's pet in Arizona.
Right.
Because she couldn't be part of my breeding program anymore. Out of the two girls, Bristol and Ducati.
Yeah.
Ducati was actually the better detection dog.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember that.
Right. Bristol is like, and that Bristol was a hard one. I tried really hard with Bristol.
I know. And she wants to do birds.
And I looked at her and said, okay, let's go do birds.
Yeah. She wants to do birds. I mean, if you think about it, it's actually the whole reason why I got into nosework. I look at my very first dog, Judd, and I wanted so much to do. It's actually agility. I really wanted to do AKC agility or whatever type of agility. I don't even AKC at that point. I mean, clearly they had it, but it wasn't my sights. I just wanted to do basic, I'm talking like CPE, like easy agility, right?
Right.
And he couldn't do it. And I tried, I'm like, I want to do obedience. And he was so soft, talk about that cycling down. And we just could not do it. And I ended up finding nosework. And it's one of those things where even though, and it was still, the beginning of the sport at that point, really, I mean, at that point when we started, NW3 was the highest level. And it was, I repurposed him to the point where I gave up doing all this other stuff with him because it just wasn't where he fit. And it changed my life.
And some of it too, it becomes so frustrating for the human.
Right.
Because you get it's that maybe dog. Maybe today they'll do the thing.
Maybe if I try harder, maybe if I use a different cookie or a different treat, or maybe if I go and train with this other trainer.
Right.
Or maybe if I just put my entry in.
Right.
For the test or for the trial.
Right. And, maybe it'll be a good day and we'll pass.
Right.
And it's one of those things. And I have had these conversations with people, and I've been on the receiving end of this conversation of, are you sure the dog is enjoying the activity that you're choosing to do? And I don't care if it's sport. I don't care if it's a working dog. I don't care. There's
it's all a job. Each is a different job for the dog.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
nose work is a job for dogs.
Exactly. And obedience, competition obedience.
Right.
I mean, the sport that we wish to play is still a job for them. And you and I have the tendency to select dogs that need jobs.
Yeah.
Or they invent things, which we hate.
They're fun. I like them.
Yes. I like them too. But I know a lot of people who they just want a really nice companion, somebody to sit on the couch and take for walks. My sister and her and my brother-in-law have a great companion dog.
Yeah.
They take it for walks twice a day, and she's content as a little clam.
So this is interesting. So let's play the what if game. What if all of a sudden she up and decided, you know what? I want to do the search and rescue thing. And this is my dog.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So now you're taking, because this is what happens, right?
Right.
Because people get it. This is what they want to do. And the way teams are, a lot of times they'll just say, okay.
Right.
Right. And then you see that person struggle with that dog, and nobody has the conversation with them.
This may not be the right dog.
This may not be the right dog. And it's one of these things where I have to say, as a nose work instructor, I'm always in my head when I see dogs like that, I'm like, and this is not clearly, you all know how I feel about the sport. I love the sport. That sometimes I'm like, this is not the right job for this dog, but this dog would be an amazing nose work dog and they'd love to do it.
Right.
That is not
it's not a slam on the sport, because here's one of the things I have found is that
because there's so much more that the working dog has to, in addition to searching. And it's the in addition to searching, which often makes them not suitable.
Well, let's be honest, people. One of the things that gets me way too much in my head.
Yeah.
Time.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm looking at because here's what would happen to me. I would always be trying to beat my last time.
Oh.
Right.
You mean like in sport?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right.
I get that all the time where I have a student and they're like, oh my gosh.
It's taking me forever to do this.
Yeah. Or they give me several different videos, and like the third video is this longer search. And they're like, I don't know why that one took so long. I'm like, because it was a lot more complicated and your dog really learned something from that. And that was an amazing search. And these other two, they just kind of happened upon it.
Right. And so, I look at and FYI for people, when we want to ratchet up the stress on people for distraction camp or intentional handling and hide setting, what do? Shorten the amount of time that they get to search an area.
Yeah.
And my type A queen comes out.
When you said time, I thought you meant the amount of time it took to do the training.
No.
Okay.
It has when I look at sport, that's what makes sport hard.
It is hard. It is hard. When I say I've cleared a 737 in 2.5 minutes, people look at me with like, are you kidding me? I'm like, yeah, and I had extra time and I just kind of kept searching because it was fun.
Right.
And I'm like, well, I could have called finish a lot sooner. I was pretty confident there, but they're like, but the people that go, are actually not the sport people. They're like, yeah, okay, I mean, it's a short time. It's the people that don't do sport and they're like, you did what?
Right.
And I'm like, yes, 2.5 minutes. That's all we had.
And it's just one of those
We found all 3 hides, which is kind
we're
of
done.
right.
And so it's one of those things that when, you look at your dog, and Nico's one of those dogs, and well, actually almost all my dogs right now, I look at them and they're like, they enjoy hunting. They enjoy using their nose. And the fun thing has been with Belle and Raven is the construction of the indoor rubble pile at the training building.
Oh, that's because your friend who's moving out to the Midwest said, well, I need to bring a bunch of crap. Why don't I just bring my mountain of climbs and all my training equipment? And I'm like, hey, can I fill your training building with this
And
stuff?
the answer is yes. And I'm looking at it today as
it's like a rubble pile back there. It's incredible.
Yeah, as both girls have figured out the path through the rubble pile.
Oh, we're going to have to change that now.
And so now I'm like, okay, now I have to rearrange the pile.
Oh my God, it's so cool. We have, I don't know, how many climbs do you think is
I don't even know.
I think I brought 29.
And I probably have 10 or 15. Well, I probably have 15 to 20.
So we're talking 45 climbs. And then we have a bunch of barrels and we have a couple culverts. You've got scaffolding.
I've got the beds for the grate from in bed. I've got...
We've got the ladders. There's a ladder. There's a bunch of pallets. We've got 2 flat ladders now and another. Yeah, there's all kinds of ladders. And it's so much fun. It's so cool.
It's funny because I looked at Raven talking about beer goggles, right? I looked at Raven and I could not, she's at the time of this recording, or probably when this goes live, she will be just getting ready to turn 10 months. And I'm like, oh my God, she's going to be this fantastic detection dog, but she seems to not like doing agility.
Mm-hmm.
She gets in her head. So I've spent a lot of time working on getting her to jump on things because this is me, right? This is what I do. And turns out I was not accessing the right drive.
Yeah, I know.
To get her to do things.
She didn't want to do it for food.
She didn't want to do it for food. You throw a toy out there. Yeah. And let her hunt for it. She's doing weird, crazy, nutty stuff.
Wow.
And since we figured that out probably a week and a half ago. Yeah. To today, I'm looking at her going, you can slow down running over the top of things. Ooh. Yeah. I mean, she's doing stuff that I'm like, you're going to get hurt.
Oh, yeah. We don't want that.
No. So that beer goggle thing can actually go in the other direction of, I have this sauce sensitive dog.
Yes.
When really you don't.
Yeah.
Right.
Or they were, and you've done a lot of work. And I always call it Y was kind of my super soft sensitive dog. And then once he got a lot of confidence, I just started calling him Y 2.0. Right. And you really have to recalibrate. Yes. Your interpretation of the dog. Yeah. Which is always a more positive way of when you have to calibrate down, which is not as fun. Not as fun.
No. Now, it's interesting that we talk about beer goggles when we look at dogs.
Right.
Because I think that if we wanted to continue on the alcohol theme.
Has it been that kind of day already?
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking for a certain form in my email. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I'm thinking about anyways. And yeah. But literally, when we start thinking about that natural tendency, it's like, if you ask me, I'm a tequila girl.
Are you?
I am. I really
margaritas.
Margarita.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I'm not into just tequila by itself, but you put it in a margarita, it's magical.
All over it. But I also am a white wine person, not a red wine person.
Same.
Right? Now.
Why we get along, it's like all the...
I'll be alcohol bonding.
I know, we were all into the Coronas, but that was puppies drove us to the Coronas this summer.
But that's your natural genetics, right? And if you think about even like Raven, of her natural genetics of wanting to hunt.
Yes.
Can pull her through a lot. But you know what? If I had waited until she was 2 or 3, I may not have access to that 10-foot tall and bulletproof dog anymore.
Yes, you're very correct.
Right?
Yeah, I'm having to create that dog right now.
Right.
Right. So I have a dog who is bred for the job she is currently training for, right? Urban search and rescue. And I mean, she is like on her mother's side. Let's see, her mother's litter mate is certified FEMA, and that litter mate's mother was certified FEMA, and her mother was certified FEMA. So this makes my dog kind of 4th generation on that end.
Right.
Like the whole, and then it's just like the whole breeding was very, very
intentional
for this. And she's an incredible dog, right? But when I got her, I was thinking, honestly, I fell in love with her father, Palmer. I love that dog. I wasn't even in the market. It was 2020. I mean, who gets a puppy? A lot of us did, but who gets a puppy during a pandemic? Me, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, but I need a puppy, right? And I didn't need a puppy, but I did need a puppy. And I get this dog. This is, way before I started even thinking about search and rescue. Heck, I was 65 pounds plus heavier than I am now. I mean, I couldn't even physically do the job I'm doing now at that point. And oh gosh, wasn't I? Holy crap. Anyway, yeah, I think I started losing it right about that. But diet and exercise, by the way, people always ask me, how'd you do it?
Diet and exercise.
I did it with diet and exercise. And thank you, Liz Joyce, my personal trainer. Anyway, I can put a link. We can put a link to her stuff in
her
there.
link will be in the show notes.
She's Canine Handler Fitness. We've actually had her on the podcast.
Yes.
She's amazing. So, so I got her she's going to just be my next sport dog. And fast forward, I start getting interested in search and rescue. Okay. Hey, I certified her as a wilderness dog. She's an amazing dog. And this past year started more gravitating somehow, ended up on a FEMA team. I don't know. It was like a chain of events here, moving to the Midwest. And now I'm like repurposing my wilderness dog to be a USAR dog. Well, she has the genetics.
She does.
But she did not have the foundations other than I did teach her how to climb a ladder. I did teach her on all the stuff in my backyard. I had planks. I did all that. She did all that. She had directional. She had the obedience. But a lot of the stuff that we did with the puppies, which is like climb on this thing, bark on this, do like all of these things that we do with the puppies, I never did with her.
Right.
She has the courage to get across the pile. And now I'm trying to we're having to figure out the equation.
Right.
To pull out those threads and weave those together on the back end, which is working, by the way, to tap into the genetics, but she didn't have all of that pre-built.
When you're repurposing an older dog, right?
Yeah.
It's that whole concept of going through and asking them what holes are now in your training that I didn't need before.
Right.
Right. What skill is there? And
right.
you could have very easily, and I see people do this a lot, is if the dog doesn't come out of the chute ready to do the thing that they want it to do, they're like, this dog won't work. And they wash it and get a new dog.
And that's nuts, because in this case, we needed a little creativity.
Right.
And she's doing it.
Right. And I get it.
You've got to think differently.
Right. And I'm somewhat in the wash it, get a new dog category, but it's not even that I wash the dog. I'd just be like, well, that job's not for you. Let's just do a different job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it becomes okay. I mean, literally, if I wanted another FEMA level disaster dog, I would have taken Mako.
Yeah.
And he could have done FEMA level disaster work with no problem.
Yeah.
He's off doing bird dog work, which he's doing awesome at. Amazing. Not with his bloodlines, not shocking.
No.
So I just look at that. We can have all sorts of beer goggles, and even us as trainers.
Yeah.
We start looking at stuff and being like, oh, well, this is the box that it's got to fit in.
Yeah.
I mean, we have our own version of beer goggles.
We do.
We
do. I was just going to say, it takes a trainer, a true trainer, to be able to tease out, like we were talking about, get creative.
Mm-hmm.
That I think, but if you're talking just general, here's a dog that we're repurposing, if you don't have the training resources, you're probably going to want to smack your head against the wall.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're probably going to need a whole episode, like once we get a little farther down the road, about going from wilderness to USAR. But I can tell you that it's extraordinarily complicated. And she's doing it, but there's so much there. But that you need to have, if you don't have the right training resources.
And when we're talking about training resources, we're actually talking about access to other creative trainers.
Yes, that's actually what I'm trying to say. And I'm just not saying it right. Is the access to other creative trainers and have the ability to kind of truly understand your dog and decipher your dog and be able to bounce those ideas off of other people who can do the same. That's absolutely what you need to be able to do.
Right. At what point is the whole thing not working for this dog? And how do we set up things to teach the specific skills that the dog needs?
Exactly.
And when we start talking about beer goggles, when it comes to dogs, one of the other things that I have so totally seen happen, and it still happens, people get beer goggles when it comes to other trainers.
Oh, yes. The hero stars in your eyes, like all of a sudden big name, and they can do no wrong.
And I have to go out and I have to buy all of the things.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That this person uses. And I have to hook, line, and sinker going into everything, whether it's the whatever boxes you want to buy.
Or the specific methodology. I'm not asking. And I think the issue with that is critical thinking.
Yes.
Because when we get beer goggles on a trainer, our critical thinking can go away.
It can. Even on dogs too, your critical thinking disappears. Yeah.
Right. And it's kind of like, it's okay, well, this is what I'm doing. This is now my recipe I'm going to follow.
Right.
Without really trying to understand whether or not it's going to work for this dog.
Correct.
Or if it's actually appropriate for the dog, or if it's actually even good training.
Correct. And is it appropriate for the game that you want to play?
Right.
With your dog.
Right.
And I have seen some systems get adopted by people who don't recognize that the way the system has been developed, it was developed for applications in a very specific way.
Yeah. Everybody's like, you guys are being so nebulous. Yes.
Yes.
We're not going to call out specific trainers or whatever, because that's not who we are. But so we're going to talk in generalities.
We're talking in generalities, and somebody can probably be like, oh.
Yeah.
And that system was developed to address very specific ways of how a particular sport is scored and the type of dogs. And when we start talking systems, one of the things that I want people to really, really think about is a system probably works for this specific trainer because they also go out and specifically select dogs that will work well within that system.
Yes.
And does that say that they can't train? No, they happen to like the system in which they train. So you know what? More power to them for being able to say no to dogs that won't work in that system.
Yep.
And personal preference. So I just really think it would be, I look at people and I'm like, okay, people, let's think about what are the common things between, regardless of the system or the methodology that this trainer is doing, why are they successful?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep. And are they successful?
Are they successful? Are they successful with more than one dog?
That's a huge question right there.
And are they successful with more than one dog of a different breed? I know you get into bite sports and stuff like that, and automatically, like, the Malinois are going to win.
Yeah.
Right? Because they genetically predisposed to do the thing. But can they do it with more than one dog?
Yes. Can they handle more than one dog, more than one breed?
Right.
Can they teach others?
Yes.
To do just as well with different breeds and different dogs?
Right. And then you start getting into selecting a coach.
Right.
Right. If you're looking at somebody who you're going to pay attention to, goes back to the more than one dog, preferably more than one breed.
Right.
Because I will tell you, going from my first dog to my second dog was super rough.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Well, I went from a border collie to a lab.
Oh.
Right. And Talon did so much training for me.
Yeah.
That it took until I really had to dissect it and figure it out. And like Talon, I never had to teach him how to do rubble pile stuff. He was a border collie. He's like, here, hold my beer.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Oh, it's funny. I even look at my own dogs, and I mean, my other two girls, I think actually would have been great on rubble.
Powder would have died.
Powder would have died. I mean, she would have been great on rubble for a very short period of time.
Yeah.
I was talking to my friend the other day, and she's like, oh my God, we were talking about Powder. And I said, yeah, Powder would have been those, like, you put her on rubble and you're like, wow. And you would go, ooh. And it would end with the vet bill. It was just like one of those things where she would have floated until she didn't.
Yeah. Then you're like, emergency vet, thanks.
I'm like, yeah, the dog I'm actually working has a sense of self-preservation, which could save her life, honestly. So, but it also means I have to work through her other things there.
Right.
But she's doing a good job, though. She's doing great.
Beer goggles are something that we see in training. And here's the other thing. Trust me, people, if you come up and ask me, hey, who trained your dog? Or where'd you get your dog?
Mm-hmm.
One of my first responses is going to be why. And the reason I say that is because when people come to me and pick up a puppy, they are getting a little tiny ball of genetics. And sometimes that genetics work like they're supposed to. Sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
And it goes back to the whole nature versus nurture thing. But when you look at a dog you've gotten the exact right ball of genetics with the exact right trainer, fostered appropriately, it looks easy.
Yeah.
So you coming and asking me where I got my dog is a really great compliment. But the other one that's going to also be like, where'd you get your dog and who did its training?
Yeah.
Because back to the whole concept of the fact that the trainer can make the dog or the trainer can break the dog.
Very true. Very, very true. And, in the case of, when we think about like nose work, for instance, we do all of our own training as handlers. And what I can say is I do, and the sport itself has been evolving a lot. When I started, it looked very different. And my first dog, Judd, who was Labrador-ish, I believe they're considering he bayed occasionally and he was a death row rescue out of North Carolina, there may have been something else in there. Oh yeah, he was a hell of a tracker too. Anyway, long ears, a little extra long for a lab.
So he
anyway,
was houndy.
he was quite houndy. but I called him a lab because it was close enough. So Judd was my first nosework dog, and he was an amazing dog. And I lost him in 2019 to cancer. But before I lost him, he had 3 summit titles, right? So he's an amazing dog. But if I fast forward from 2019 to this year, 2026, and I look at the skill level,
right,
and the actual dogs competing now in nosework, the landscape has changed because we're seeing a lot of people that are a lot more sophisticated. We're seeing more skilled handlers who grew up in a sport that already had a summit. Because when I started, NW3 was the highest level. Nobody had even imagined elite at the time. Nobody had even imagined summit. We had a national and it turned into summit, right?
Right.
So, and now we have purpose-bred dogs competing.
Right.
People getting purpose-bred dogs to do nose work, which I have no problem with. So, but I look back and I'm like, my first dog, if I was competing him now, would probably not be as successful.
Right.
If I had the skill set I had then,
right
now.
Right.
I have a different skill set now.
Right.
So the landscape has changed a lot. But what I can say, because I do have purpose-bred dogs, I look at Powder, for instance. That is a hard dog to search with.
Right. Oh, God.
Because her drive and her arousal are both very high.
Right.
She's a lot of dog. And I'm actually very happy that she's not bigger than she is. She's actually not very big at all. She's only about 47 pounds, but she's a missile.
Yes.
And you have to be able to handle a dog. You have to be able to regulate the arousal moment by moment. You have to be able to observe millimoment by millimoment, right?
Yes.
To be able to see those changes of behavior, because don't forget, in nose work, most of us don't have trained final responses.
The speed at which she moves.
Yeah. I have to see the changes of behavior in that.
Right. And I look at that and I'm like, thank God Nico is 75 pounds. He moves fast.
Yeah.
No.
She's like when we picture Malinois speed, that's my lab. And actually, it was really funny. I did a trial once and I had a judge ask me, he goes, I have to ask about her name. He goes, Powder? And I think he was thinking like baby powder.
Mm.
And I'm like, it's short for gunpowder. He goes, oh, okay, I understand now. Kind of funny. I'm like, yeah.
Uh-huh.
But the amount of skill it takes to be able to handle that and be able to observe is huge. So when I have people come ask me, like, where'd you get her? And I know what it's like also living with her.
Right.
And, so you've got to really it's not just an experienced, skilled handler and trainer with a highly talented dog.
Right. I mean, I think of living with Nico. Nico he's a unicorn. He's lovely.
Oh, he's wonderful.
But you know what? He's a lot of dog.
He is a lot of dog. He's a KNPV, Malinois.
Yeah. And I'll happily tell people where to go. Well, Janie stopped breeding. So I can't even recommend a good breeder. Well, I have a couple of breeders I would recommend people to, absolutely, but they're not going to get Nico. And because there are a couple of really nice breeders out there that I would trust, that if I was going to go get another Malinois, that's where I would go. But I'm not, because I like my labs. And I really think that, yes, I can have this phenomenal working dog, but living with them on the other side of the world, I mean, the other side of that is, thank God for indoor, outdoor, backyard kennels.
I love your kennels. I think I'm really going to have to be thinking about when I find the property, we're going to have discussions about what can we do with this. Yeah. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Literally, I think if nothing else, I think that, and it's very easy in this industry and in dogs, right? To look at what somebody else is doing and be like, oh my God, my dog can do that.
Yeah.
Which is great. And then I also look at some of it and be like, well, I can do that with my dog. And I'll be honest, I would love to be doing bird dog work. I don't have time. Do I have dogs that would love to do bird dog work? Pretty sure, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have the time to do it. I do have the time to do it. I don't have the time to do it well.
Yeah.
It's not fair to me or the dogs. So that was a lot of beer goggles.
That was.
Takeaways.
My takeaway is that I think we need to try to think about things almost in third person. I think that's the only way to kind of look at things from a very truthful lens. And truthful lens might go positive, might go negative. But a lot of times what I would say is ask yourself, is it the dog that I want this for, or is it me? And if it's me and the dog is, when I look at it from a truthful lens, are there other alternatives, or is this, that's a hard conversation, but or you just say, this is the dog I'm learning on, and that's fine.
Just like a starter home, a starter dog is just fine. Yeah.
Yeah, totally fine. It's just being honest with that so that you're not disappointed.
Right. Because
later on down the road. Yeah.
Yeah. Ray was my biggest teacher on that.
Yeah.
Was I doing it for me, or did she want to be a partner there with me doing it? And the answer was no, she didn't.
Yeah.
And I let her be a couch. Well, she wasn't even a couch potato. She was what we call farm dog.
Yeah.
Right. She was just companion animal number one.
Yes.
And got to go on. She had a job.
Yeah. She did.
Being my shadow. That was her job. And she was perfectly happy doing that and cleaning dishes. So, and occasionally pulling a tater tot casserole off of the stove. So it doesn't make them any worse of a dog. It doesn't make you any less of a trainer.
No.
So anyway, okay, people, we need to hear from you. If you want us to do the occasional, you can see our eyeballs sort of thing.
Right.
Chatting.
While we do our rambling, please.
Yeah. So you guys can watch us in our weird facial expressions.
As we start to go off in weird tangents.
Right. So other than that, we've still got some opening in various classes because this is going live in like the middle of May or something weird. I don't know, or we may have filled everything up, which would be awesome. Yeah. So make sure you check that out. Links are in the show notes, and go train.
Canine Detection Collaborative.